This is a portrait I did of John Bernthal, also known as Shane Walsh, on AMC's The Walking Dead. Remember to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook to see more pictures like this one. Take it easy, nation. The Walking Dead, Issue 12. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the dark and foreboding tale of The Walking Dead. Last issue left us with all hell kind of breaking loose, the walkers getting out of the barn that we found Hershel had been keeping there. Hershel lost 2 of his children in the in the attack, I guess you'd call it, and 3 total because one of his kids had already turned and been in the barn. That's why he was keeping them. And at the end of the chapter, obviously had to put all of them down, and they had to, they had a somber moment at the gravesite, burying his kids. And I'm sure burying your kids can never be easy. And then it ended up on Tyrese's daughter Julie and Chris, being given the go-ahead by Tyrese to carry weapons, and them basically, kind of going off and going, and Chris going, I thought that bastard had never let us carry a gun, and her going, and good, and now we can, we're so in love, I love you, and now we can enact our plan, it'll be soon. So there's something going on with them, and I guess we'll see what it is. This chapter starts off, and some things move through, and it moves kind of quickly. This is going to end up the second story arc, miles behind us, and being issue 12. It is the end of the first, I guess, year of this comic, having been in existence. And what winds up happening here is that the next morning, the morning after this all happens, Lori and Rick wake up in bed. Lori gets morning sickness. She's obviously pregnant, so that's something that happens with her. And then it goes and it flashes to the next page. And remember how I told you in the last chapter that Glenn and Maggie have been, fucking? Well, Hershel walks in on his daughter Maggie just a few hours after he lost 2 of his children to the Walker attack, and he sees them, in bed with each other, and presumably having, slept the night with each other and had some sex, and he flips out, and Maggie's like, Daddy, I'm 19, I can do whatever I want, Glenn and I, we love each other, and so apparently it's gone from just casual fucking to love in a very short period of time. However, in a world like this, when you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, let alone if you're going to make it to live 24 hours from now, or a month from now, or a year from now, I could imagine probably being more emotionally attached to someone just because it's like, oh my God, you're alive and you love me, and you say you love me, I love you, So I guess I can get the vibe that they're going with here. Hershel is not happy. He goes storming out. He's really, really pissed off about this. And so we wind up seeing Rick and Alan, the guy who's a little messed up in the head because his wife had died a couple weeks back. Several weeks back now. They've been on the farm for a while Carl's been on the mend. And they're, cleaning out the barn. These walkers have been... Imagine how a barn smells like when you go to like a petting zoo or something like that, or for any of you that have lived on or visited a farm. Well, imagine that with the smell of dead human beings walking around for probably months, just sort of rotting and pieces of flesh falling off. So they're cleaning up the barn is the bottom line. And they're talking amongst themselves, and Rick's trying to ask Alan if he's okay. And Alan basically says, no, I don't think I'll ever be okay. But I've decided that I need to go and do what's right, that my wife would want me to move on, at least to the point to where I could take care of the kids, and that's what she would want. So I don't think I'm ever going to be right in the head about it, but, it is what it is. And Rick says, hey, listen, man, I don't know what to say to you now. I mean, I can't pretend that I know what you're going through. My wife and kid are still alive. My son, just narrowly, dodged an incident where he got shot, but... ultimately, I don't have anything to complain about to say, well, I identify with you and I feel your pain. And Alan says, listen, man, it's don't have to try to fix everything. It's just good enough to know that you care, right? So it winds up taking us over and showing us a shot of the RV. And now, of course, everybody's getting ready to move out of it. They've all been in there and cramped. And as you can imagine, 8 or 10 or 12 people, it's probably stinky in there and it's just terrible. But at least it's got walls. You can lock the door. It's safe from zombies, so to speak. So Andrea and the older man Dale, who we found out a couple issues ago, they've been banging too. So I don't know, man. I don't know if this is about the Walking Dead or if this is about zombies and stuff like that, or if it's about who can have sex with who at the end of the world. So, because Dale's like in his 60s, maybe, I don't know, maybe 70, I have no idea, but he probably has to, take some Viagra or some Cialis or one of those type of male enhancement pills to get things flowing properly. Andrea looks like she's, I don't know, looks and sounds and appears like she's maybe 30, maybe half his age. They both had tragic losses in their lives recently, and of course that means you should have sex. So they're kind of talking about things, and Dale goes and says something about how his wife would kill him if she saw how dirty the RV was, and how they can't get the smell out of it. And Andrea's kind of somber because she's like, well, it makes me think about how, she's always on your mind. And Dale's like, listen, hon, okay, I was married to her for 40 years, so you're not going to go and get me to change my memories or erase my memories, and I'm not, I'm not compromising what we have. I love you, okay? We're fucking now, you know what I mean? So, and he does. He cares for her now, but he's trying to say, hey, listen, don't try to make me feel bad because I remember fondly 4 decades of my life that I shared with another human being. So it's human nature. So it then goes to back to Rick and Alan in the barn, and Rick's just like, you know what, screw this, man. There's obviously 2 of Hershel's kids had died yesterday, so there's extra room in the house to begin with. Why the fuck are we all going to be cleaning out a barn to sleep in a barn, right? And he's thinking like permanent residence. Hershel has said a few times you can stay here while your son is on the mend, but basically I think Hershel wants him to move on. So Rick goes and confronts Hershel while he's over by his horse and says, I need to talk to you. Do you mind? And Hershel says, well, as long as you don't mind talking in front of a horse. And Rick's just real blunt about it. And he says, listen, you just, I know it's real soon. I know you just had this terrible loss with these kids and everything with your kids. But there's plenty of room in the house, Why can't we? And Hershel just cuts him off. Abso-fucking-lutely not, okay? This is a short-term thing. You're not moving into my house. You're not moving into my kids' rooms, okay? Here's the deal. You guys came here, your son was shot, I helped him, okay? And then I told you could stay here. I shared my food with you, my shelter, my home, my everything, okay? Till he got better. But it's time to move on when he's, so Rick's like, what the fuck? And, this exchange goes on, and they basically agree to disagree and walk away. Later on, we go back into the house and we see that Tyrese and Carol are kind of getting buddy-buddy. We're kind of seeing people pairing off and having a little happy time. And while they're over there having their happy time and just kind of rubbing and cuddling with each other in the living room of Hershel's house, Julie and Chris are kind of standing back in the doorway looking like, yes. So you know that whatever plan they have is going to come to fruition soon. But I don't want this to get too long. I know some of these reviews have been long. I really just get into the series. I'm going to start doing reviews for the actual TV show too. So I think these ones are long. Just wait until I get into those ones. But what winds up happening is Hershel's pissed off because of just the whole situation. Period. Lori comes bursting out of the house to confront him and basically is like, what the hell is your problem, man? And he's like, you're not staying here permanently. I don't have enough food to feed you. I have to take care of my family. And Lori hits him where it hurts. She's like, oh, yeah? Like you took care of your 2 kids that wound up dying? That's all your fault that happened because you locked all those people in the barn, you dumb shit. Why don't you try actually taking care of your family? If we weren't here and hadn't armed you and your kids and your family with guns, you guys would have all been wiped out and killed, when that happened. So there's a point where Hershel basically is just like, he reaches back and he's like, damn you woman, and he's about to slap Lori, right? And Rick gets in there and stops that shit right away. And everybody's trying to break it up anyway. And he's like, that shit's not going to happen. He gets Lori to back off a little bit. And then he gets up in his face and says, there's no reason why we can't all live together, Hershel. We can help. We can, help grow more food. We can do this and that. Hershel blames them for everything. He just flips out and he's just like, no, I want you gone. I bring you into my house, I show you all these kindnesses, and what do you do to repay me? Glenn's fucking my daughter, okay? 2 of my kids wound up getting killed. All the bad shit started happening when you guys came here, so get the fuck out. He wants them gone. So Rick goes and turns to Lori to comfort her and say, it's okay, hon, it'll be okay. Hershel pulls out his gun, the pistol that Rick gave him, and puts it to the back of Rick's head and says, I want you gone now, you son of a bitch. So Rick's like, whoa, okay, right? It shows a flash in a panel of Carl, the little 7-year-old badass that went and popped a zombie in the 4th issue, I think it was, saved his mom, and in the 5th or 6th issue, shot Shane in the fucking head. Carl's sitting there, and he pulls his gun out, because he's ready for shit to go down, and he's only at, like, nut height, but he'll shoot everybody. He doesn't care. So So anyway, things wind up escalating. Otis, the guy who accidentally shot Carl, comes in and pulls Hershel's hand back and says, "What are you thinking?" And he says, "I just want them gone." And so Rick's like, fine, we're going to leave, right? So he's getting everybody packed up to leave, and Hershel goes back into the house, and Otis is banging on the door, and he's like, "Man, you can't treat people like this. What the hell is wrong with you?" He bursts into the room, and Hershel's sitting there, and he's beside himself. He's like, "I was going to kill that man. If there was any resistance, if there was any sign of him resisting, I was going to shoot him. I mean, I think I'm losing my mind. I'm becoming a monster, And so it then goes out to them packing up and leaving, and we find out that they're going to say their goodbyes, and they find out that Glenn is going to stay. He's in love. He's like, "Listen, man, I used to make those runs in and out of Atlanta, and the reason I was so successful is because I didn't have anybody. I didn't give a shit whether I live or died. I don't have that feeling anymore. The world has ended, and Hershel said I could stay, and I really do love Maggie." So he's like, "I'm bad at saying goodbyes. You guys have a good one. Take it off. Take off." So we then get a few pages of them driving around in the RV, and they're foraging and scavenging for food. And they're hungry a lot of times. They're stopping at places. They're trying to take out zombies or walkers that are in the area and just trying to scavenge and rummage and forage for food. And I don't know how long this goes on. In the TV show, it's something like, a whole winter, like 6 or 7 months or something. So I don't know if it's weeks or months in the show, but it basically is like, night after night, man, they're all crammed in this RV. They're on top of each other. They don't have enough food. The kids are hungry. So they finally go in, and the chapter comes almost to a close, and they go in and they stop in this area, and Rick basically says, "We've got a few hours before dark. Alan's going to stay here with the kids. Everybody split up. Keep your guns on you. Search for houses, cars, whatever. Anybody who can find anything, come back to the RV and honk, and we'll all come to help you." So Glenn and Andrea and Dale, the old man Dale and Andrea, kind of go, they pair off and go walking around. He's talking about getting frisky with her, and she's like, "Fuck that, not until we find some food." But they go, and as they're searching, they wind up climbing up this hill, and all of a sudden they're just, bright-eyed about something, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go tell them about this." So they run back and honk the horn, and everybody comes running back, and they're, "What? And he's, "No, we just got to show you," right? So then it's kind of cool. They go up this hill, and then they show in this wonderful double-page spread, they just wind up showing what can only be described as is like a prison. And I don't know if this is like a state penitentiary or what. It's got the towers, it's got fences, several rows of fences, houses, and there's zombies walking around in there, and they're like, "No way, man, there's walkers in there, blah, blah." But Rick's like, no, you don't understand. There's food, there's shelter, there's a fence that can, that can be fixed, repaired. We can take these things out section by section, and we can live in there, and it can be fortified. We've got plenty of room to go around. There's supplies, medical supplies, probably some food, right? So he's just like excited. And then the next page is a one-page thing of just Rick's face with a big old smile on it, the happiest he's been in a while. And he's just like, "Oh, we finally are home." So that's how the issue ends, and that's how the second story arc, I guess you'd say, the second story arc of 6 issues ends. And we're really excited to dig into the next one. At least I am, Nation. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the like button if you think I deserve it, and certainly subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look to catch you in the next one, Nation. As always, thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. Be sure to subscribe and take a look at some of my other videos. Thanks. See you next time, Nation.